Dave.
I'm with Augustine.
Who are you with?
Augustine.
Oh.
We're actually going through a name change.
Oh.
So you will see us as Stillside.
Cool. Oh, very cool.
My biggest question is how to get, like, how exactly did the connection happen between us here playing halftime at a farm show to where you guys are now?
A lot of live shows, I think. You know, like they said prior to us getting signed, we played 250 plus shows a year, and it was just
we were booking ourselves.
Yeah,
around the area.
It's a long road, and you just have to think of it as like you know, a career that you want to pursue for a lifetime. And that's certainly how we do it. And I don't think we ever expected any sort of overnight success, nor do we now, and nor will we ever.
Yeah. No backup plan.
Just keep working and you know, try. Do everything you can to make it your career.
And like our connection line that got us to Atlantic, which wasn't ever our end goal. It's another step, you know, a label. It's just
so you got signed. Now what?
Yeah, but they, you know, I think you still need a label to really, if you're going for, you know, like, you know, you need radio, and a label get you on a radio. It's still. There's still gatekeepers, you know, even though it's not as powerful as, you know, in terms of sales as it once was. But we did these conferences. I think it was because these conferences that you know, you met David Ivory, a good friend of ours, who's a producer in Philly, and he introduced us to. We went up and played Don Hill's in New York with something David was putting together, and met Don Hill, right?
Yeah. Well, we what ended up happening is that we had booked a show, and it's funny. It's like the stars kind of align, and we had booked a show. The club ended up, the club that we had booked ended up closing down like a week before the show. So, real quick, you know, David Ivory was like, "Well, let's go to Don Hill's. It's a friend of mine." And so we went there. Long story short, that didn't work out. Like we were doing a showcase for a guy that wanted to invest in us. He had
some small label.
Yeah, kind of like he wanted to start a label and he wanted to invest in us. And that didn't work out. But Don Hill, the club owner, really liked us and said, "Hey, why don't you come up here? You know, like the first Wednesday of every month, and or less time. Let's just book a bunch of shows here at my place, and I'll start bringing some friends out." And this again is a huge testament to like surround yourself with people that really believe in you and want to work for you and want you to succeed. Because if it wasn't for him doing that, we would have never met the A&R guy that ended up signing us. So again, it's just kind of like you keep moving, and it's one foot in front of the other, and it's tough, and it's hard to like see the forest from the trees sometimes, and sometimes you think, am I really this crazy for trying to still do this? You know, we still go through that. But in the end result, yeah.
It was lucky, but I feel like, you know, you create your own luck, you know, like you do enough shows, something's bound to throw enough crap at the wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah, well, and I will tell you that a big thing that our label just recently had, some people at the offices ended up talking with me about was what impressed them, and this is where live show comes in. You know, what impressed them was, because they came and saw us a bunch of times. It started with this A&R guy, then he brought the interns for their opinion next time, then we got to know their families, and then up to the head of the label. So by the time all this happened, we started to really get to know them. But what they told us was that we were so consistent that it wasn't just like this magical night and somebody got inspired and wants to sign us. They wanted to make sure that night after night that they came to see us, whether it was, you know, in the sleet and the snow or in the springtime, we were able to bring it every night, and that's where
7 months later.
Yeah, 7 months later, after we finally put ink to paper, and
so to even get that far, how we started was just doing it ourselves. When we were little, our parents would get really involved and start booking us, and I mean, there's a lot of ways on the internet that you can self-promote your band and you can do it yourself, but getting to know the radio stations really help a lot, and getting radio play in the area and building a fan base helps so much.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. My name is.
I saw you earlier.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit. My name is Philip Nathaniel Freeman. I'm actually a singer-songwriter from the York area, and I just actually I wanted to. You were actually touching on something that was part of my question. Kind of wanted to get an idea of how you guys started with your shows, as far as touring and your how extensive that got. especially when you were starting in the beginning. And just wanted to see and get your perspective when you were doing like DIY.
Well, how about we'll take the beginning and you take the tail end. How about that?
Sounds good.
Because in the beginning, I was 13 and he was barely 11 years old. So when you talk about like where, first of all, we had to figure, well, where are they going to let us play? So we played malls, we played coffee houses, we played a funeral once, we played Friendly's restaurant down the street. You know, I mean, anywhere, and I mean, thank goodness we had parents that like actually were like, yeah, go for it, because my mother would be on the phone with like the manager from Friendly's restaurant, like, can we play lunch hour? You know, and stuff for free. Exactly, we got paid in ice cream, which was good enough for us at 13. I'm like, yes.
I'd still take it.
Yeah, I'd still take it. Exactly.
I just picture you with like a table full of ice cream.
You could still do it too, but
that's kind of what it took, and you know, it's kind of like what I was saying earlier, like, you know, booking ourselves and all the help from the radio station, from the acts from the area.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it was all that. You know?
It's kind of a series of steps, because we played Park City Mall in that little. Has anyone ever, like, maybe they took it down now, but they used to have like this little circular stage and stuff, and there was like this rotating audience. We played
petting zoos.
Yeah,
we played
Sam Goody,
funerals.
The Schuylkill County Fair was our first show.
Fair.
You know, it's like, so it's basically we played.
We opened up for the pig wrestling.
We did actually.
Big crowd.
Or,
really
no,
big crowd.
No, it was hay bale tossing actually.
Hay bale tossing.
But like
they opened up for us.
It was more important for us to play anywhere and everywhere that they would let us, and that ended up leading to the first bar to ever give us a chance was, it used to be the Rusty Nail, now I think it's the Underdog or something, and what ended up happening was we played lunch hour. This guy gave us a chance. We're like, let's just play happy hour. So here we are, two little kids with one of the rotating drum kit and, you know, whatever we were doing at the time. I think we had homemade pyro too, which that was before Great White. So, and then they wouldn't let us do it.
Now we don't talk about that anymore, right?
We don't talk about that anymore. That was a dark time. But
that was a dark time.
But then he ended up liking us and gave us a chance, let us open for some bands nighttime, and then club owners talked too. So one club became 2, became 3, became 4, and those, you know, and it's just it's a series of steps in building, you know, and
building your fan base,
you know, and it's amazing how it works, but it still works that way.
Honestly, the best thing that could have happened for us was when I got busted for being by the LCB and we couldn't play.
Yeah, all of a sudden they started noticing.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you guys can't play in Pennsylvania anymore. So as much as we missed being able to play there for 3 years.
Well, there were still some club owners that were like, it's fine.
But yeah, we won't talk about that. But it really helped us kind of work in the surrounding states and kind of help get out of the initial area and start building fan bases and building our radius in the East Coast.